and we did not receive a response to that respect.
To table or to produce that document? Witness?
Yes, proceed.
You also, to that effect, in demonstration of the governor's undermining the authority of the county assembly to oversight her office, did a letter dated 23rd March 2020, correct?
Yes, Chair. Through the Chair, we did a letter to the executive on the same, and no response was done to the county assembly.
Would you wish to produce the same?
I wish to.
Again, in that effect, I just want you to have a comment on a letter dated 4th January 2018 from the public service board chair. And you said that you sit in that committee, correct?
Chair, I want to confirm that actually we received a letter from the chairperson, County Public Service Board, on the coercion, seeking the intervention of the committee on the alleged issue.
Who was the subject in that letter?
Through the Chair, I confirm that the subject of that letter is one Pauline Kamau, who the board was being coerced by the governor to give an appointment letter as the director administration, to which, as per the board, the County Public Service Board, she did not meet the requirement, and previously her designation was a personal assistant to the governor, and that the board felt that there is a conflict of interest and it's against the requirement for recruitment as a director administration in the county, and were informed that at the same time there was no vacancy, there was a substantive director administration.
Chair, allow me to move from the letters and I go to the governor's bag of documents contained in a file labeled as CGK SCM stroke DP stroke 001 stroke 2019-2020. It's in this white file, the governor's documents. It relates to a purchase of a motor vehicle.
Let the Secretariat furnish honorable members with the same. Mr. Ndego, is it possible you do a list of the files that you expect to interrogate so that we...
Yes. We shall touch all the governor's files.
Yes, it is here with us.
Relating to the tenders.
You may proceed.
Witness, I want to refer you to a document, and the members, the document appears as border of page 18. There's a leaf. There's a leaf indicated as 18H. And the document I'm referring to is a document titled as Guarantee Application Form. Guarantee Application Form.
You may proceed.
Witness, you looking at that form?
Yes, I am. Through the
What sort
chair.
of a form is it?
Actually, it is an application for a guarantee.
What guarantee or what was being guaranteed?
A purchase for a motor vehicle for the county government of Kirinyaga was being guaranteed by KCB, a bank.
Is it what your allegation that that tender did not follow the procedure?
Chair, to the best of my knowledge, a guarantee is actually a facility that is applied in form of a loan. And I want to say that one of the role of the members of the County Assembly, as provided in Section 8 of the County Government Act, is to approve any borrowing of a county government, to which in this case, actually a purchase was done through a bank guarantee, and an approval of the County Assembly was not sought, to which I am a member. I never saw such an approval being sought or passing through the County Assembly.
Being a member of the County Assembly, which votes have financed the purchase of that motor vehicle?
Referring to the budget, a budget for a vehicle is supposed to be voted as a recurrent budget. But in our budget for the financial year, it was actually voted as a development budget, to which the control of budget declined to approve requisition when it is on a development vote, and requesting that the County Assembly be sought to do a supplementary budget, which was done actually in the month of April, having it in mind that the vehicle was purchased in the month of October.
So it's evidence that the vote that financed the purchase was that of recurrent expenditure?
Through the chair, I want to confirm that
developed expenditure.
Through the chair, I want to confirm that looking at the details and the fact that the purchase was done in the month of October, and the supplementary budget to devote the money from development to recurrent was done in the month of April, it's best suited for one of the witnesses to confirm actually whether the purchase was done through a recurrent or a development vote.
That letter dated 27th February from the same file. What is it about?
Through the chair, it's actually application of a bank guarantee extension, meaning actually the first application was approved and it expired. Therefore, the county government of Kirinyaga was applying for an extension.
Was the county assembly involved in the approval of that guarantee?
To the best of my knowledge and availability for the services of the County Assembly of Kirinyaga, no such approval was sought or approved by the County Assembly.
Is that why you are saying that the governor has the tendency of undermining your authority?
Through the chair, that's a clear manifestation of the fact that the governor does not recognize one of the roles that is given to the County Assembly by the law.
I want to refer you to the governor's file. Again, finally, it's tender number GCGK ICT 0T046 2017-2018. It's a company called Velocity. You are aware of that company?
Through the chair, I'm aware of that company.
When was that company incorporated?
It was actually incorporated in the year 2017.
And are you aware that the company participated in that particular tender?
With the information available, Chair, I want to confirm that that company participated in 2 tenders in the county government of Kirinyaga, to which, Chair, I want to say with a lot of confidence that this company, from the definitions in the IFINs, and Chair, I want to invite your attention on this. We are living in a digital era, and we are able to access the e-citizen account. Having the CR12 number, anyone can actually search for that company, and you realize that it's not available in the records here. And therefore, with a lot of confidence, would say that it's fictitious, it doesn't exist.
Company, was this a tender that was reserved for any particular affirmative group?
Through the chair, I want to say that this was an open tender that was supposed to be processed as an open tender, not as a restricted tender.
Your evidence that the company called Velocity with VELOCTY is the one that bidded for this tender?
Through the chair, I want to confirm that actually the information we get from the executive is more confusing, because at times you ask for that information concerning the tender, they will give information for Velocity, VELOCITI, and other times, through the chair, you get information relating to VELOCTY, meaning there is clear intention to confuse the assembly as they do their mandate.
So it is your evidence that the company going by the name of Velocity with VELOCITY is the one that executed the contract?
I want to confirm through the chair.
While the company that bidded for the bid is VELOCTY?
I want to confirm, Chair.
Yeah, I want to yield the witness for cross-examination.
That's in order. So I invite counsel representing Honorable Andu Angi.
Their families. Remember, what we're dealing with here is an infectious disease. So if you down your tools, if I down my tools as a healthcare worker, then it means I'm putting myself at risk, but most importantly, my family at risk and you at risk. So we do really call for an amicable solution, and we are well seized of the issues, and they're being discussed within COG and within the Ministry of Labor so that we have an amicable solution. There's a question on PPEs, and I'm glad that over the time, as we've been doing the press briefings, we've had you members present here. Our PPEs actually go through a stringent mechanism of ensuring that they adhere to quality. And those that we pick out, and we've picked out a number actually that might not have been of the best quality, we've been able to return this back to sender, so it may be, to ensure that our healthcare workers have the right PPEs that are in place. And because we have the DG here and he leads a team that actually ensures that the PPEs that are being utilized across the country are actually safe, he'll elaborate more and further on the mechanism that is in place to ensure that these kits are safe and sound. And with regards to the stocks at KEMSA, it's important to note KEMSA is a purchasing organization for this whole country, a huge purchasing organization that has lots and lots of products coming into the pipeline. And so in terms of commenting on whether we have 2 billion, 10 billion, 50 billion of stocks, I think we'd be able to have KEMSA perhaps share a better position on that. What I can tell you, however, is that KEMSA remains a body that has been quite agile in ensuring that we actually have the needed essential medicines within the country. And in terms of all the materials that come through in KEMSA, there's actually a department on quality control and assurance that aims to test each and every product that comes in to ensure it is of good and sound quality. And on top of that, I'm sure the DG will share with you, there's actually a pharmacovigilance / product vigilance mechanism that is in place. And again, we call on our healthcare workers. If there is any PPE that you may have that you feel is not suitable, that may have had some form of malfunctioning, bring it to the attention of the Ministry of Health so that we can come in and ensure that these mechanisms that we're putting in place do not miss any kit in terms of ensuring that they are safe. There is a question on statistics in terms of teenage pregnancies from Purity. Again, a very good question. We do have that data. I'm made aware last year, in terms of the last annual year in the ministry, we had about 4,000 teenage pregnancies, and this is from our health information system that we manage nationally, and that this year there's been a drop to 3,600 teenage pregnancies. So a reduction in terms of COVID-19, and I'm sure you may see that this is a bit different from the story that was carried into the paper. And there are numerous reasons why there'd be changes or, anomalies in this data. We've had discussions with Machakos County and all the other counties to look at their data. We are aware that the study that was undertaken actually had double counting of these teenage pregnancies. So for example, if I come for my ANC visit today, and I come back again in another 2 months, and I come back again 2 months thereafter, that's counted as 3 pregnancies, yet it is one mother coming for 3 visits. So we've been able to look at that data, Our HIS team within the ministry has verified it, and DG will add on to this, but the data we have so far actually shows a decline in trend. But then that's not important. What is important is one teenage pregnancy is not one thing that we can allow. And really, we are putting in place mechanisms jointly with the Ministry of Education. I know they've made comments on this within health to ensure that we actually protect our girls and our young boys so they can fulfill their potential in terms of their livelihoods. We will be able to share with you, Purity, perhaps a disaggregation of this data by county so that you can have a view in terms of our trends in the past years and this current year. With regards to vaccines, again, it's important to note a vaccine requires very stringent mechanisms for you to be able to actually get to the end of it and to be able to utilize it in terms of ensuring it is safe. The last time I checked, I knew there was about 96 products in terms of vaccines across the country that are under review. And this is with different partnerships with different organizations, pharmaceuticals, and global health bodies. Internally, within the country, we continue to ensure that whatever shall be utilized for our citizenry would be something that is actually safe and is able to give the immunity or whatever protection is needed. WHO and DG will add on to this now that he's vice president. He's more aware that the DG, in terms of WHO, Dr. Tedros, was actually able to guarantee that the World Health Organization is working to secure a number of billion vaccines that will be equitably distributed across countries to ensure that when this solution is ready, that Africa, Kenya, is actually there online and gets the required doses. So DG will add on to that when it comes to viability of the vaccine. KTN Mark asked a question on capacities in county, and I'm happy that question was asked today because just today we had a meeting with CECs in terms of trying to find out where they are in terms of readiness, and the report we have is that counties are actually on track. And as DG intimated, tomorrow there will be a meeting where we'll be able to come together jointly, review the data in terms of which county is where from baseline, who has 100 beds, who has 200 beds, who has the requisite staff who are required to actually manage those beds. So perhaps in tomorrow's briefing or Friday's briefing, you'll have a very good highlight of where we are in terms of our targets. But I'm glad because the response we got today is that people have made good progress and they'll be able to share with us the information tomorrow. Let me ask DG to perhaps add on to the issues in terms of the vaccine and also the teenage pregnancies and any other issue. Karibu, DG.
Thanks, yes. In terms of teenage pregnancies, I think the data that CS has given is our correct position, but we need to work together as a whole society to ensure that we don't have any teenage pregnancies. This is obtaining because of the unique situation that we are in, but as parents, as brothers, sisters, of each and every one of us, we need to work together to ensure that the teenagers are protected so that they can be able to achieve their full potential. In terms of vaccine trials, yes, very many vaccine trials ongoing. A few are quite promising, a few have been left by the roadside. But let me throw this back to all of us. Let us all be the first vaccine by washing our hands, keeping social distance, sanitizing, and wearing our masks appropriately. That is the first vaccine as we wait for this medical vaccine that could take another 18 to 24 months. So everything is within our control if we take care of these simple containment measures. Then the vaccine will just be a plan B for us. County preparedness, yes, we have received reports from all the 47 counties and good progress has been made. I think we'll be able to share this information with you on Thursday after the extraordinary summit meeting. And remember that the plans that we are putting in place are not only specific for COVID, but these are plans that will also serve us in the post-COVID period. So if we increase this capacity, our health system will be better prepared, better in terms of resilience going forward in preparation for future challenges and future pandemics. For the PPEs, we have stated over and over again that this came with a global supply chain challenge. Remember when we started this war on 13th of March, when we had our first case, our stores in Kemsa only had 5,000 PPEs. Now, one of you has intimidated here that we have stocks worth more than 2 billion. So based on this challenge that we had, of course, the next best thing was to start local manufacturing. And when you start local manufacturing, you'll have pitfalls here and there. What we need to do is not to condemn our entrepreneurs, but work with them together with KEBS to see that we improve our system so that the PPEs that we produce meet international quality standards, and that they are not only good for Kenya, but they can also be used for the regional market and the international market. So my appeal to the healthcare workers is that we'll continue to ensure that we have available PPEs throughout of the highest quality and standard possible. But in case you find something that does not fit the bill, please bring this to our attention so that we can be able to address it with a specific manufacturer. I think that is all. We can have another round.
Thank you. My name is Ben Kirera from K24 TV, and my question is based on home-based care. Have we had any numbers today come from patients who are in the home-based care in terms of positive numbers, recoveries, or fatalities? My second question is on teenage pregnancies. In the interrogation of the teenage pregnancy data, have you considered abortion as a possibility? And if yes, are we looking to have this data included in the report once you release it? And also, when should we expect the final report? Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab Mohammed, TV47. My first question is about home-based quarantine protocol. We were told yesterday about success stories. So my question is, the protocol was just launched last week. And is it enough time to already have success stories? If so, could you kindly share more details about, say, which counties these success stories are from and the numbers? Number two, about our men in uniform and COVID-19. Can we get the numbers of how many of our officers have been affected by COVID-19 or contracted the virus? Number three, the areas where cessation of movement. Okay, the last one. The area where cessation of movement were lifted, such as Isli, Old Town, what is the current status of the infections in those areas? Thank you.
Thank you. I think we'll get those ones. So the last question regarding the areas where cessation of movement was lifted, such as Old Town, Vita, we actually have a continued surveillance mechanism happening there. In Isili, I'm aware the NMS is continuing to ensure that all the containment and adherence measures are looked upon. And I think what we'll do the next time, because I can see most of the questions coming in touch on the statistics. What are the successes when it comes to home-based care? What is happening when it comes to Isili and Vita? What does it look like when we say a county has 100 cases? What is the numerator? What is the denominator? I think we'll be able to put this together for you through the DG office so that you have clear data that you can then, tell your story on. The main thing in terms of successes, many successes have been highlighted. Home-based care, if you remember some time back, we had some patients that came in from India in terms of evacuation. Some of these patients were able to go through that protocol at home. These were ill patients, and they're okay. And so we have success stories, and like I've said, perhaps on a continual basis, we'll have a way of disaggregating for you what is happening when it comes to home-based care. The other important question is on teenage pregnancies and the issue of considering abortion. It's true in Kenya we do record all the data in terms of sexual and reproductive health. And we are compiling this report just because it is an issue that we do not take lightly. And it is an issue that is actually now going to enjoy a multisectoral approach in terms of what can we do beyond health when it comes to teenage pregnancies. And so perhaps in a few, I'd say perhaps 2 weeks or so, we'll be able to have a comprehensive report. I know the DG has his preliminary report and he's looking at it right there. He can give you some snippets as to how that looks like. However, it's important to note that this data comes from different counties and is actually really filtered when it comes to within the Ministry of Health by our HIS teams. And we look at all variables in terms of abortion, and this includes complete and incomplete abortion. So there are many parameters that we look at in terms of this, and DG will share his highlights in terms of his reports. I think the issue of home-based care seems to be some issue that has drawn a lot of interest. And so what I can say is tomorrow we shall focus on home-based care. We'll have a really full spread for you in terms of how we're doing there, in terms of how those protocols look like, and in terms of the future, what do we expect to see 6 months from now when it comes to home-based care. TG, Karibu.
Thank you once again. I think in terms of the home-based care, we told you yesterday that we are going to translate the guidelines into Kiswahili, which we have done. I have it here with me. So we want to form an abridged portion of this for the local dialects, and that responsibility will go to the counties. But as at yesterday, I think we had 550 people who had been on home-based care. That is before the medical evacuation team, that was separate. And as at yesterday, 50 people had successfully been discharged from home-based care and have been cleared. So I think the numbers will come because now you know very well the disease is now very well structured, especially at the county level. So we have to get these reports on a daily basis. So probably you can be able to give you statistics for the past 1 week in terms of the number of people who are on home-based care and how many of them have gone through the successful home-based care to be reintegrated into the society. Of course, the numbers, best case scenario, will obtain from Nairobi and Mombasa because of the high case load, and of course, better experience with COVID-19 management. So most of the numbers will basically come from Nairobi and Mombasa. At the county level, very few counties have started implementing this. Remember, we also have to do capacity building. And as we said yesterday, we need to do home-based care judiciously and cautiously so that we don't only expose the immediate family members, but the rest of the society in case somebody does not follow the guidelines and protocols. So we'll be able to share the data with you in terms of the numbers. But going forward, we are very, very hopeful because of the strict criteria that we apply. For you to qualify for home-based care, one, of course, you must be COVID positive on a laboratory testing. Number two, you must be asymptomatic. Number three, you must have no comorbidity or pre-existing medical condition. And of course, you must have space, basically a room well ventilated, probably with separate ablution or bathroom and toilet facilities, and many other criteria that we have put in place so that those who go for home-based care are actually people who deserve and can benefit from home-based care without exposing the rest of the family to danger. Thank you.
Thank you.